All right, guys. So copywriting, long form, short form, technical. What's the best way to go about it? What's Apple doing? We're going to find out today. Hey, guys. Welcome back to Marketing in the Rocks. I'm Modern and Dress here. Uh, Another Thursday. How's your
Like
week
Thursday.
going?
It's going well. It's going pretty well. It was nice weather.
Yeah,
Can't beat
finally
that.
getting nice out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was snowing last week at some point, and it was crazy.
Was that last week? It was last week, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And now it's like 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's hot up there. I know you're not drinking because of Ramadan, but I'm
Two more
actually drinking.
weeks.
Yeah, I got some rum that was given to me by my brother-in-law. It's Ron Zacapa, and it's I believe is where's it from? I read it the other day. I can't find it. If you guys know where it's from, drop it in the comments. But I'm gonna try a little bit. I love rum. I'm a big rum guy.
You need to go to the rum bar, man.
Yeah. Once I'm fully vaccinated.
Yep. Sounds good.
We'll do a Market in the Rocks from there.
I'm down. Yeah. Well, cheers to you. Cheers to you.
Cheers, guys. All right. So today we actually want to talk about, just copywriting trends in marketing overall. As a lot of you guys watching probably know that, over the years, copywriting for whether it's ad copy, web pages, whatever it is, has changed tremendously. So we just wanted to sit down, talk a little bit about that. So yeah, Samad, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. And I'm going to take into consideration that copywriting can play into many different factors, right? Like there's the psychology of copywriting, right? And for me, when I think of copywriting, it's different than I think a lot of other marketers or people that are like, publicists and PR people who are more, news oriented, AP style, writing out press releases, that kind of stuff. So there's a confusion of what copywriting could be. And in our case, copywriting is definitely more of a sales tactic, right? You're utilizing psychology to sell, whatever product or service you might have. And you're trying to put that, end user, that customer or that potential customer into, like into your shoes so that you can pitch them. So it's a very solid skill to have this particular piece. It saves you a lot of time. Let's just put it that way. Copywriting saves time. So all the people that are out there that will say like, copywriting or it's an elusive or not real skill. And that actually does come up a lot. It's funny. It's not true. Like, like this is something that you can use to save a phone call with a prospect, because that you might still want to sell through that phone call, especially if it's a higher ticket service or product. But by the time they read all your messaging, that's part of that caption of that product or service that you might have. They're at least going to be warm, right? Like they're going to understand a decent amount that you can have a little bit more detailed conversation. It's not like an introductory and then have like a second step close that you might have to do if you didn't have solid copywriting skills. So, it was a conversation, Andres, that I had with like someone else. So I forget who. And last week, and we bring up Apple quite a bit in all of our videos. I don't know why. Maybe because we both like them. I definitely probably like them. I don't know. I'm not sure how you feel about them,
I do
but
love Apple, yeah.
but yeah. So like I know we talked about like where Apple's gonna go and screw us marketers over probably for a very short term. But if you're really willing to adapt, you're good. Let's look at Apple from a different perspective. They do marketing well. Steve Jobs was a marketer more than anything else. So, I mean, even think about it, right? Like, they're not revolutionary as product, creators, right? Like Google came out with Android before Apple's iOS came out, as an example. So they just take something and make it better, and that's what they do. And marketers better be able to do that. So I'm going to share my screen, and just both of us, if you don't mind, we'll just go through their product page, because they obviously know the trends well enough and they have enough budget to know that this works. And let's look at it together here, guys. I mean, it's kind of cool. They obviously, this is for the iMac 24-inch. It came out last week. It's supposed to be revolutionary from what Tim Cook's saying. I think it's revolutionary because it's only one chip. It has the same M1 chip though that like the new iPad Pros and all have.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting because that means then your phone or your iPad Pro is actually just as powerful as your desktop in this case. And for me, I'd rather have like a very spec'd out desktop. So I'm not sure if I buy it yet completely. So I'm coming in with this with a doubt, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they start here with a picture that shows colors. And I mean, again, like desktops usually shouldn't be in color. When I think of desktops in color, I remember like elementary school with those iMacs with the bubbles. You know what I'm talking about? Like the
The big
oval
back.
shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like they're bringing that back, but without the big back.
Mm-hmm.
But, going down, what do you see? You got like a center text with the right typography, with all that kind of good stuff. It's, very aesthetically pleasing. That's great. But say hello to the new iMac, inspired by the best of Apple. Maybe that actually helps me resonate with that image of elementary school. I don't remember them in middle school as much. They were only an elementary school thing. Transformed by the M1 chip. That part's, again, the part that I think I get a little bit more confused about, because I'm like, well, that's what's in my phone.
Right. And
So
you on your computer too. Yeah.
I'm buying a desktop that has the same chip. Okay. Stands out in any space, fits perfectly into your life. Like in my case, and I have a 2013 iMac that's just a beast that I've upgraded, that's still as powerful as like the most, at least up till this year's iMac it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really need it to take less space. iMac's already kind of solved that. You don't even have a tower. It's just all one screen. But it's
So
thinner, so that's great.
just one thing real quick. I mean, do you think they're kind of playing to the younger generation, that they know that the M1 is what's in their phones and tablets, and that's kind of what they grew up with? How many, they don't really use laptops like you and I do. We don't
Well,
consider them to be, a workhorse. They consider their phone to be their workhorse.
that's interesting. I like that. I like that thought. Let's keep reading through the copy and see.
Yeah.
Let's play it between our generation that actually still has desktops and laptops
Mm-hmm.
versus the younger. I think that'd be kind of a cool story.
Yeah.
So stands out in any space. It maybe a conversation starter. I don't know. Fits perfectly into your life. That might mean, like us or whoever, content creators, maybe like anyone is editing. Maybe that's where that comes into play. Pricing there's an event, there's a film. Just out of curiosity, when I click on the film, it actually opens up on the page itself as a pop-up. So they're not making you leave,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. This is actually kind of a copy conversation as well as page aesthetics, right? Like a landing page and the conversation of should it be long form or short form. And back in the day, and even now, a lot of marketers still do this whole short form, except the people that really understand ClickFunnels,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is posing that question that long form pages will work.
Right.
Not even copy, but just long form, right? And again, when I hit event, I did just go back. I hope you didn't hear all that audio. Did you hear all that audio?
Vaguely.
Okay, good. All right, so the event did take you to another page. The film about the product didn't. I don't know if there's a reason for that. What do you think?
I mean, I'm sure there is. It's Apple, but we just don't know the reason. I mean, they have all the data that they need to make that decision.
Yep,
Um,
true. And the film is definitely only about the product. So pulling that up as a pop-up makes sense for that. I'm not sure about the event. Maybe because you could, quite frankly, lose attention
mhm,
on this particular page, which might lose your opportunity as a sale. Maybe. I'm just it's a hypothesis. I'm not sure.
mhm.
But their first key H1 is the colors.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know about you. For me, it's going to be all about the specs. So it's interesting that they start with that H1.
Mhm.
Then nice image. Apple obviously does their good at pictures. More pictures. Notice that I'm scrolling though. There's no slider or thumbnails that I have to click through. I'm scrolling through this. So that means it is adding space to this long form page. Now it's going into the thinness of it. I'm a little confused. Am I looking at the phone or a computer or what? Because when you're talking about thin, I'm thinking about phones at this point.
Right.
So maybe that is just a age difference.
Mhm. I mean, at least for me, I do prefer, something thinner when it comes to screen.
Agreed.
Uh, Even for my laptop, I mean, I have a PC, but I remember specifically buying this one because it was thinner than another one. It
True.
had all the same specs, it was just thinner, and I think I paid like 150 bucks more for it or something like that. But to me, that was important.
Gotcha. So that's kind of cool,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that's part of it. They're looking at it from that particular perspective. No one really is looking at any other desktop. Like I know you have a Windows laptop. Would you ever
Mm-hmm.
go buy a Windows desktop?
No.
Yeah, I know that Microsoft had the Surface come out a while ago, but I think it's kind of died down. Not the Surface Pro, the laptop, but their like
Mm-hmm.
desktop version.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now they're talking about that M1 chip. So this extraordinary design is only possible thanks to M1, the first system on a chip for Mac. It makes Mac so thin and compact that it fits in more places than ever. Um, Maybe that has to do with versatility of living these days. I don't know. Like, so it looks like they're telling the story about the M1 and how versatile it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so thin, because it only needs that chip to run. And what's cool about it, I did read about this. It's like it actually doesn't even have like fans. It doesn't have a hard drive. It's a solid state drive that's separate, but like the memory and the RAM and all that, like like whatever Intel processor, those are all gone now. Apple's not using Intel anymore for its processor. I'm making this an Apple conversation more than a long form, but it's okay because it's still telling about a story here. They're talking about this chip and how revolutionary it is. So,
And so, I know you and I know about the chip and everything like that. Out of, the general population, how
mhm.
many people really think, like, do you think that really know about what M1 means as a chip?
I don't think many people would, but I mean, I highlighted this text. This text here doesn't even really explain what M1 is, right? It just says that it's extraordinary. The design is extraordinary, and it's only made possible because of it. So it makes it look
Right.
even more elusive.
Right. And I think it goes back to what you were saying, just storytelling.
Yeah. Now then the second, so this is an H2, right? Like this is all text. This is all like after the tagline. The second one does explain a little bit more about what the chip does. So it integrates the processor, graphics, memory, and more onto one chip. which is why it can be so small. So they're focusing on the why by explaining the how.
Mm-hmm.
And in a very, I wish I had Johnny Ives' voice as I explain this whole page right now, but I don't have my British accent. But they're saying it in very few words, which is kind of cool. That actually, in my opinion, was probably naturally done or purposefully done, just because this is also just this compact design computer. They don't need to write a lot about it. It's going to make, if you write a lot about it, it actually makes the product look heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my psychological aspect from copywriting that plays into just even this much text explains this picture well. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think it's when you have too much text explaining something, I feel like you're almost justifying why the person should buy.
Right.
And that's something that Apple, I feel like, has always done very well. Like, it's almost a whole, when you go into a job interview, you ask them why they should work for you, why you should work for them, sort of thing. They're
Yep.
flipping the script with their copy, and I think they're very good at that. And they've been doing it very well for many years.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. And then so they had, H1, text blurb, then one subheader that kind of, puts it all together. And that's just in less than 10 pounds, abracadabra, like just throw in a word, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But that's cool. It works. Then again, here's another one, perfectly poised stand. So now they're going into a little bit of the components and they're highlighting the stand. So really in this case, this long form page has a really large picture of the stand on it. And I know we're on desktops, or in this case, we're on laptops and not on our phone. If you did this on the phone, this is going to show in the same manner.
Mm-hmm.
I almost 100% at this case. But we can do that video and drop it later just to do it, just so we can see how it is on the phone too. So yeah, then, a little bit about it, showing really in detail the Thunderbolt ports and the stand itself. And then the connector with the magnets. Apple loves their magnets. With the color matched woven cable. That's definitely wordsmith like crazy. Because I don't know why anyone else would call that a color matched woven cable. They would call it a wire.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's where copywriting comes into play, because that makes it sound more expensive, and Apple likes to make their things sound more expensive, and then also charge more due to it. So hey, color match woven cable sounds like it's custom.
Right.
So then it goes into the display of it, and it's cool because it's not even showing the monitor when it's talking about the display. It's just showing a
That is pretty
Pixar
cool.
image.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. Right? It's showing a really sharp picture on not even bringing out that monitor anymore, because the monitor doesn't matter, in my opinion. It's actually kind of interesting because they didn't even really bring up the screen here or here. They bring up the stand and the color cable, but they didn't bring out the monitor yet. So they bring up the display. So that's cool. And it's just a simple spec. Not really even wordsmithed. It's not like copywritten. It's just a spec.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually
Then
surprised they
they
use
finally have.
crudes.
Well, I'm sure the Croods paid a lot of money for that, but
Yeah, but crudes is DreamWorks, right? Yeah, it is. It says DreamWorks there. I didn't know that, because Apple usually does everything with Pixar, since it's
oh,
like Steve Jobs' deal. Like Steve Jobs helped start Pixar.
I thought it was Pixar.
Yeah. If you look really carefully, it says DreamWorks right here.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I'm not sure where that kind of came into play. Oh, because they don't care. They're only talking about the Apple TV app. So that's why. Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
But that's interesting. I mean, no one else is probably going to pick that up. We're like sitting here dissecting this page, but even just this text here is a cross reference. It's a cross sell to get
Mhm.
people to also look at the Apple TV, which also was a product that they brought up last week. You know, as a new updated device.
Mhm. And you said you had the Apple TV, right?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of the Apple TV. It's good stuff. But look at this though, man. Like, I don't think this picture does the justice. Like, I'm actually surprised. Have you even seen the front of this pic? Yeah, okay, we have
But even
here.
that picture, I feel like all their front pictures are never, at least on this page. Like, look at
So
that.
far, yeah. We got the
I mean,
back here, the
yeah, the
back
back looks
here,
great. That looks great. Yeah.
but the front's actually not. You know, again, we're sitting here nitpicking the product, but like, I feel like it's missing something. Actually, when I'm looking at mine, which is older, it has this like, it has the Apple emblem on the front.
Yeah. I don't even see the emblem.
Yeah,
And I actually think that having the white background on this, at least on that particular section, at least change the color of the TV. You're talking about of the monitor. You're talking about all the different colors. I think there somebody dropped the ball.
I agree. Yeah, because this looks like a generic computer.
Hmm.
All right, Apple, you can get, yeah,
And they have the blue and the blue. So why is the front not blue?
yeah, that's interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Watch there be some reason that we haven't figured out yet. But look,
If you guys know the reason, drop it in the comments, please.
seriously, please do. I mean, this just looks like it's generic. It's missing that Apple icon.
Hmm.
That's bothering.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, we're probably gonna sit here and talk about this for like 2 more hours after we're done recording.
Yes. See the big picture and all the details. See it all in sharp, glorious detail. That's again wordsmith on the immersive 24-inch. Man, how many like words to say immersive can you say in one sentence? You got one, two. Detail is actually also perfectly placed on the immersive, right? So 4 words, 4 describers in one sentence.
Mhm.
24-inch, 4.5K Retina display. The P3 wide color gamut. I've never really seen the word gamut before. I feel like they're just talking to us now. Brings what you're watching to life in over 1 billion colors. Imagine or images. Great. I cannot speak today. Images shine with a brilliant 500 nits of brightness. So again, that brilliant was thrown in there. Industry-leading anti-reflective coating delivers greater comfort and readability. And True Tone technology automatically adjusts the color temperature of your display to the ambient light of your environment. Which, just a little side note on that, if you're working outside, I have like the newest MacBook Pro. Kind of does suck because it keeps changing the color or like the brightness all the way down to like nothing, so I can't see my screen anymore. I
Mhm.
brought that up today with my wife. Um, but yeah, True Tone technology automatically adjusts the color temperature of your display to the ambient light of your environment for a more natural viewing experience. Maybe it's Apple saying you shouldn't be on your computer and should be outside. I don't know. So whether you're editing photos, working on presentations, or watching your favorite shows and movies, everything looks incredible on iMac. It's a mouthful. That's actually the most text we've seen so far.
Mhm.
A lot of it is like word throw up, and not in a bad way, but in a way that only Apple does well. So if you can get it done the same route, you almost have to brand yourself to do that though, right? Like, like I think anyone else, if we as funnel marketer, we're talking about one of our products the same way, it's going to look like, oh man.
Yeah. It's
Apple has
almost
done a lot of branding to make that happen.
right, and it's almost funny because a lot of stuff that you and I do, we work very hard to get bullet points and have everything there, um, for almost to like filter out any questions. And I feel like Apple doesn't care in a good way.
Yeah. But I think that's where branding comes into play, right? Apple has just been doing this for so long that they can sound egotistical or creative, and I'm not saying that creatives are egotistical or anything like that, but they can sound full of themselves in the right way, but because they've set that mindset, that's where psychology comes into play here, because that's what you think of when you think of Apple. Like so that's kind of an interesting component here. It's this particular sentence to me is interesting because I know that a lot of people these days would buy a desktop or a laptop even, but maybe even a desktop, like photographers or creatives in general, because they're editing photos or they're working on some kind of presentation, like whatever, right? Little fun fact: a lot of really good, solid designers that design, like pitch decks and whatnot, don't even use PowerPoint anymore. They swear by Keynote, which is an Apple product, which is interesting that they bring up presentations for that purpose, because designers that are that caliber won't use PowerPoint. They'll only use Keynote. So that's an interesting thing that they bring up here. The watching your favorite shows and movie, I don't think I've ever really sat on my desktop and watched a movie. On my laptop, maybe when I'm traveling.
Yeah, I
I'm
was gonna
using my
say.
iPad more. What about you?
Yeah, usually my laptop, and it's like very rarely.
Yeah. I wonder if they're doing this almost for the purpose of like, can this replace a TV? I don't know. That's just a thought that came into my head, because I don't know of a lot of people that watch movies on their desktops. Maybe there is a decent amount of people that do. That would be an interesting poll.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I don't really know. Yeah. So, and also we can see. So, how far along are we on the page where they like through this actual
So,
chunk of text? Because everything else has been just little blurbs. I think that'd be
yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah, can you see my
Let me see.
scroll on the right side here?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Now
So
I have
I'm
it
like
here.
a quarter of the page so
Okay.
far. And there's definitely a purpose for that, just so you
Right.
know. Like the purpose of text here that's small, like, blurb, blurb, little, H2, 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 right? Another H1 that's right in the middle of a picture, not even showing the product. The reason for this is if you're down a quarter of the page in, you're kind of hooked. You're going to be on the page for a while. So you don't want to start with the paragraphs. You almost want to start with like small bullets or small blurbs to hook people. And then you get into more text here. So that's definitely a copywriting trick. Apple, again, brilliantly has done it. Because the next one's still a little bit more text, right? So 1080p FaceTime HD camera, ready for your close-up. That, to me, is important, mainly because we're all on Zoom.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. It's the best camera system ever in a Mac, double the resolution for higher quality video calls, larger sensor that displays more light, and the advanced image signal processor, that sounds like a whole bunch of words, ISP of M1 greatly improves image quality. So from collaborating with coworkers to catching up with your friends and family, you'll always look your best. That's a good picture. I mean, that's a sharp picture of this young lady here. She looks good in that picture. So.
But they still don't have the branding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to know if this actually does have the branding or not. Like that, I feel like it's missing the Apple logo.
Right? And do you think they just did away with it because they're like, we're Apple, we don't need to put our branding on it?
Just on the back. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, think about our phones though. Our phones don't have the logo on the front.
Yeah, that's true.
Huh. I mean, my laptop I'm on right now does say MacBook Pro.
Mm-hmm.
So that,
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
Really, if anybody that works for Apple is out there
It,
and is watching this video, please let us know because it's really gonna bother us.
it just, it feels like it's missing it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then it's showing how that happens. I'm not going to read all these words, but it's cool that it's showing that. Um, that image though doesn't probably matter to me as much. I don't know about you.
No, but I can see how, if somebody is editing pictures or,
True.
constantly in Zoom or, you know, we both nerd out about different things. And I feel like there's definitely a decent amount of Apple users that would definitely nerd out about on this.
True. Yeah, I agree. So then another little bit larger of a text blurb. So the ISP on M1 uses computational video. Does it really? I don't know. Um, we cannot really even tell. It could be just wordsmith that way. Computational video to enhance image quality. To capture stunning video, it goes through a series of steps to analyze and enhance each pixel at over 1 trillion operations per second. So far, it's shown that it's doing a lot of work. Even with the one chip, it's doing a lot of work. And they bring up that chip here. So they're really talking up that chip. I mean, they're storytelling like crazy on this M1. And then it's going into advanced noise reduction algorithms, bring a new level of clarity. Tone mapping delivers enhanced dynamic range for more detail in bright highlights and dark shadows. And it works with the neural engine in M1 to make more intelligent exposure and white balance adjustments. So you look just right in any light. I love that they rhymed it at the end. I don't even know how to really explain that text. I'm not going to sit here and try to dissect it or explain what that means. Honestly, I don't know what it means, but it's a lot of
Yeah, but tell
words.
me you didn't read that and felt good about buying that computer.
Yes. Yeah, you definitely do. I mean, it makes it seem like this computer's doing a lot, which is great. So studio quality mics for higher quality conversations. Andres, maybe you and I need to get these.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think our sound hasn't been too bad though. But whether you're on a video call with a friend, cutting a track, or recording a podcast, the microphones on iMac make sure you come through loud, crisp, and clear. The studio quality 3 mic array is designed to reduce feedback so conversations flow more naturally and you interrupt each other less. And beamforming technology helps the mics ignore background noise, which means everyone hears you, not what's going on around you. Is beamforming technology a thing,
I
or did
think
they
that
make
might
that up?
be. I feel like I've heard that from like ASMR people. I feel
Okay,
like it has something to do with that.
gotcha.
Uh, but I would have to double check on that.
Yeah, I almost could see, and I'm not even like discounting Apple for doing this though, by the way, but I almost could think of it being a fake word and not even be phased by it. I'm sure it is a real word, but if Apple were to do that, like, does it bother you? I don't even know. Maybe it doesn't. It doesn't bother
Who's gonna
me.
question? Yeah, who's gonna question it?
Yeah.
Not me.
No, it's crazy. Yeah. So again, it's showing that you can make these paragraphs a little bit more meaty, explain things in a lot of words, and question a technology that probably does exist, but we haven't Googled it yet. Yeah, that's crazy. Again, now this is gonna bother me with this Apple icon, but this is cool.
hmm
It's showing a little bit of editing, which is great. 6 speaker sound system audio that fills the room. That actually does matter.
hmm I do like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. Like, I'm definitely jamming out to some work sometimes, and that would
Mhm.
really help. So that's cool. No crazy amount of text there, it just says it. Then it goes into it. The sound system on iMac brings incredible room filling audio to any space. Two pairs of force canceling woofers create rich, deep bass without unwanted vibration. And each pair is balanced with a high performance tweeter. The result is a massive, detailed soundstage that takes your movies, music, and more to the next level. Can we get someone, whoever we know, I don't know, but like we just take a whole full page screenshot of this whole website, of this landing page, and tell them to just simplify it? It'll be hilarious. It'll be actually a really interesting look
Yeah.
because there's so many words to explain that this thing has a good subwoofer.
Right.
That's crazy. By the way, this movie is really good.
What movie is that?
Wolf
Well,
Walkers. It's really
oh,
good. It was nominated. It didn't win in the Academy Awards last week, but it's just really good. If you are you a Game of Thrones fan?
yeah.
All right, so it's got Sean Bean in it as the father, which obviously he's a pretty much a father figure to a lot of people. But his daughter turns into a wolf, so it's like Game of Thrones except animated.
Is
It's kind of
this
cool.
what streaming service is it on?
It's on Apple TV Plus.
Okay.
So if you have an Apple TV and you have a phone, you don't have to pay for Apple TV Plus for the first year.
Okay.
And they keep extending that. Like I think I just got noticed like they're just giving it away for another year. So they don't care yet. They're not gonna try to compete with a Netflix yet or anything like that. But I do recommend it.
Okay. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
I do like that picture though, with the rings around it, just kind of showing sound.
Yeah. Actually I
And
didn't even notice that. Wow.
but and that's the thing. It's subtle enough that like it gives you that visual. That's cool.
Yeah. It is really cool. I thought it was just a visual aesthetic, but I completely forgot we were just talking about speakers. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Thanks to the redesigned speakers and advanced algorithms, Apple loves using the word algorithms. iMac now supports spatial audio when displaying video with Dolby Atmos. And when you combine that with the 4.5K Retina display, it looks like bringing the whole theater home. I mean, this could replace a TV. Back in the day, and I don't know if it's still the case or not, people have talked about Apple coming out with its own TV, not just the Apple TV box.
Hmm.
Maybe this is what they're trying to do, but not, I don't know. Like, it can go anywhere. It said earlier, you can put this computer anywhere.
Hmm.
Maybe not as many people are actually having like your, traditional living arrangements these days. Like, and there's people that are freaking living in um, like RVs and just running around the country, which is awesome. If this is in your living room and this is also where you work, or you're in a one bedroom apartment or a studio, maybe it makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, it's all Bluetooth, so you can literally just take that, like set it up on, have just take it from your office, move it to the living room real quick, and then move it back.
Yeah, that's also one of the beauty of it. I mean, that's cool so far. And then this text actually is so far probably the less amount of words in it. So compared to the past paragraph, it's like
Hmm.
explaining what the speaker's doing over and over again. This one doesn't have a whole bunch of like filler words, in my opinion. But that's probably because there's not much to say. It's just like it's spatial audio.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, they kind
cool.
of did the wordiness in the previous paragraph, I think.
Yeah. And this image though does show space.
Hmm.
So it is really beautifully done. That's awesome. So okay, now it's going into like the operating system. So M1 and Big Sur, with great power comes great capability. That's definitely playing on some superheroes right there. M1 is the most Powerful chip we've ever made. Mac OS Big Sur is the most advanced desktop operating system in the world. Windows users might disagree. Combined, they take iMac to entirely new levels of performance, efficiency, and security. iMac wakes from sleep almost instantly. Apps launch in a flash, and the whole system feels fluid, smooth, and snappy. With up to 85% faster CPU performance and up to 2 times faster graphics performance than standard 21.5-inch iMac models. You can use apps like Xcode and Affinity Photo to compile code in a fraction of the time or edit photos in real time. And it runs cool and quiet even while tackling these intense workloads. That's the power of hardware, software, and silicon all designed together.
Do you feel like almost somebody else wrote this paragraph? Like they literally just switched copywriters?
Possibly.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it's a lot more descriptive and, not as many filler words. Like I feel like you get to this point of the page and then we give you like
The
the meat
meat.
of the actual system.
Yeah. And that's an interesting concept from even a marketing team, right? Like what if you did that even on your own website pages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like where you had one person that is solid at copywriting from a different particular perspective with the descriptor words and all that. Then you got someone else that's a little bit more of a technical writer come in later on the page. And that might be how we need to start looking, us as marketers in general, like how we look at how you word or even task out a landing page. Because I agree with you, and even the words that are a little bit more descriptive, the one that I think that caught my eye is like snappy.
Mm-hmm.
Still has a solid purpose of being there, because I can visualize a computer being snappy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just extremely like you can get stuff done really quick.
For me, it's fluid.
Fluid's that word for you. Cool.
Yeah.
So it's playing on both of our personalities there. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying you're a smooth guy. There you go. So now it's going into the internet, and it's saying that means Safari is faster than ever, and you can browse with hundreds of tabs open at once. That's going to give me a anxiety attack, but
Tempting for both of us.
yes, but that's cool. The picture is showing a whole bunch of tabs. Yeah, that picture here does give me an anxiety attack, but it's cool that you can have a lot open. Most people to understand that your computer does, I guess most marketers, most designers, anyone that's tech centric, I guess, probably understand that, if you're got like a million tabs open, your computer's going to go slower. So that little text does explain a lot. You can fly through edits in Adobe Lightroom and easily work with massive 100 megapixel images. Is this a Where's Waldo picture? No, that would be cool if it was. It is a cool picture though.
Yeah.
But they went right for the photographers and the editors.
Right.
So they didn't care about anyone else. They just like literally said it right there. So that's cool. And that's definitely done on purpose.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, they're trying to hit every niche, and they're doing it very well.
Yeah. They're not even, they didn't even give a picture says 1,000 words. They didn't even give a headline here. And for the photographers and for the editors, you can fly through edits in Adobe Lightroom. They didn't even say that. They just said, they just moved on and brought up, like this particular audience can do work really fast. So that's cool. I like that. Even take on machine learning tasks. So again, they did it again. Like quickly transforming your photos or your photo into vector layers with Vectornator. I didn't even know that word exists, but that's cool. And it's basically both of these have to do with editing and videography, filmography, or photography in general. Then you got all your apps. There are more apps for iMac than ever before. iMac has apps with just about everything, or for just about everything and everyone. With M1 and Mac OS, Big Sur, you can even run many of your favorite iPhone and iPad apps directly on your iMac. Interesting. Okay. And as always, it's easy to search, discover, and download on the Mac App Store. So this goes back to what you said a little bit earlier, Andres. Like, that's kind of cool, but it might be a generational thing where the workhorse is your phone.
And I feel like they might be trying to switch it back over because this can be more expensive than a phone. They can charge more for a desktop than a phone.
They can charge more. My one thought on this, especially this whole part of like you can run your favorite iPhone and iPad apps, like is there a way to like somehow run Instagram differently
Hopefully, I mean that's such a
on
headache.
this? Yeah, like I hate the desktop version of Instagram. If
I
I
think
could somehow
everybody does.
install the app, that's cool.
No, I mean, so I had the app of Instagram on my computer just because, back when I was running people's social media pages and stuff,
Yep.
and it's just terrible. Over the years, it got a little bit better, but it's still just such a headache. So the
I
only
didn't.
thing that's good for it's like
Mhm.
if you're using it just to like a lot of and people who run social
Just
media would
browsing.
agree with me. Yeah, you like have to scroll and like certain things and comment. That's the only thing that's good for.
Gotcha.
Other than that, it's just awful. No offense,
So,
Instagram.
well, but I wonder if that, like, if this solves that. I would love to unbox.
Do
We're
they?
down to, where are we? We're about almost 3/4 of the page.
So go up a little bit to see if
Uh-huh.
they got the Instagram out. Yeah.
They
No,
got
that's
Zillow. That's interesting. So bring up real estate. Got Word.
they got PowerPoint. They got obviously FaceTime.
That's funny. They actually showed PowerPoint and they didn't show Keynote. Huh. What is this one? It kind of looks like Asana, but it's not.
I think there might be an editing one. I'm not
Okay.
too sure. Photoshop, Slack,
Airbnb.
Airbnb. They got Calm in there. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Hmm.
I wonder if
Twitter
they
is
got
there.
offering Twitter. I wonder if like these apps had to pay, like some of the smaller ones had to pay to be in this.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Hmm.
That's an interesting concept there to think about. Airbnb, actually, though, as funny as it is, even on the Apple TV, there's an Airbnb app, which we sometimes just open up because when we're talking about like trips and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually kind of cool to explore houses that you can go on, with a family or on vacation off of that app. So that's I mean, it's such a interesting or a weird, like probably a very niche use case, but actually does help expand, like, or imagine you going to this place, right? Like, it helps from that particular perspective. So I don't know, maybe that's why it's there. I'm not sure. iMac and iPhone, quite the pair. iMac gives you the best of iPhone on a big, beautiful screen. iPhone lets you access what you need from iMac on the go. And when you use them together, they work like magic. They really do. Because I can take my phone calls. I take my phone calls on my computer all the time. And I definitely use my text messages on here all the time. So even though most Apple users will probably end up buying a new Apple device and know this is almost text that's almost meant for people that are not Apple users already, but it's still impactful to be here. So your calls and texts come right to your iMac, so you don't need to switch devices when you're in the zone.
And honestly, I have to say, so as we mentioned before, I have a PC.
Hmm.
I have a, just a laptop, and the one of the main reasons why I'm looking into a Mac is so I can do that.
Yeah.
That is literally one of the few reasons. Other than that, I mean, I love just having a laptop, but not having that
It's
compatibility, it's hard.
it does add seamlessness to it, right? Like I know I sometimes take it a little bit too much to the level of like don't even have calls with me, text me. I rather do that because I'm in the zone.
Hmm.
But what's great about this is like if I copy something on my iPhone, I can paste it on my iMac. And I know I send you even, for instance, sometimes links on text. And you're
Yeah,
probably like, what the heck? What do I do with this?
I copy and put it in Slack, and then open Slack in my computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good point to bring up. Um, and we're like almost to the end, but we're not there yet. And like you just brought up that you actually thought about getting an iMac or a
Mhm.
MacBook. So that's cool. Um, Definitely psychological. With AirDrop, you can seamlessly share things like photos, websites, and files with your iMac. I do this all the time. It's definitely powerful. Um, but again, it's hitting people that might not be Apple users already.
Mhm.
And it's validating or it's reinforcing Apple users already of why you should keep buying Apple products.
Right, and it's so the whole ecosystem that we've talked about,
Yeah.
which I mean is marketing gold.
Yep.
They did it so well, and I don't think anybody has done it as well.
Yeah. They're cross
Marketing.
sell, upsell, their stuff like no other. And Universal Clipboard lets you copy text, images, photos, and more from your iPhone, then paste them to your iMac. Like we just talked about, I don't even have to bring it up, but that is definitely a very awesome feature. Discover more ways your Apple devices work together, learn about continuity. I actually didn't know that they used that word for this, but that's cool. And then the picture of it all together.
Paxson's still in business? Huh.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Huh. It is cool that they're using Apple Pay here. This is definitely more about what Apple's about to do. They're going to go
Mhm.
crazy on Apple Pay
Yeah,
in general.
and I don't know if you've been a little bit switching the topic, but I feel like so many more places are taking Apple Pay now.
Yeah, yeah, it's happening. But so they ended. I don't even know if they ended. I haven't scrolled down yet. But they've. This is just a picture of the whole computer without the Apple icon here, which is bothersome.
And the mouse still has it. So
Yeah. After we're done this, can we like look up a new picture of a computer like on Google Maps or Google Images? I'm sorry.
yeah, we can look that
I
up.
wonder if these are just vector images. And this page was designed before the finished product was ever done. But I don't think Apple would do that.
I don't think that would slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
So do
Yeah.
you, for the desktop, do you have like that pad as well? What is that pad that's on the side?
This pad right here, yeah, I do. It's I actually use that on my laptop too. So actually, as funny as it is, on my desktop I have the Magic Mouse because
Hmm.
I like the clicks. But I have this same pad here that I keep on my desk as well. And it's a great pad. It's like, it's just a big trackpad that just feels good and it does do a lot in
Does it look
terms
like
of
a
like
mouse?
work optimization.
Does it
It
just
is,
like
yeah,
a mouse?
it's pretty much just your like laptop trackpad.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it is really cool. And does a lot of like force movements, which is really, it's powerful.
Hmm.
Keep the color going all the way to your fingertips. Keep the color going all the way to your fingertips. I had to read that one twice. That's a weird sentence. Keep the color going
Hmm.
all the way to. The new iMac features a color matched keyboard. Okay, great. Mouse and trackpad. So the color, like, basically it blends in with the whole aesthetic.
Hmm.
Magic Keyboard now has keys for spotlight, dictation, do not disturb, and emoji. Wow.
Hmm.
I'm surprised that it has the emoji keyboard right in now. Okay. And for the first time, Touch ID comes to iMac, which is a really good feature of the laptop. So you can easily and securely unlock your computer using, use Apple Pay and download apps quickly with just a finger. So they're taking a lot of that mobile friendly pieces. They already added it to the laptop, the MacBook Pro. Now they're bringing it to the desktop. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But they're playing on that aesthetic, like we said, magic. So they're playing on that one more like H1. And it's a good closing to this like long form page, right? Like
Yeah.
that's it. Like we said, it's magic, right? Or not even saying the word it's just like we said, magic.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can do it in your space, which is a good call to action next because it's actually seeing, how you can pull this up right on your iPhone and just literally put it on your desktop, like on your desk,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, by the time you do this is definitely where e-commerce is going
Yeah.
because it makes you want to have it. I mean, and they ended with you just seeing how it is in your own space, which is cool. It's a good call to action. It's not even saying buy, right? Just
Right.
see it. They always come up with these pictures like of these like really like, lifestyle friendly spaces. All with the snake plant and the pothos plant. There's that apple on the back again. Man, designed with the earth in mind. iMac was designed to minimize its impact in the environment. All of the virgin wood fiber in its packaging comes exclusively from responsibly managed forests. The rare earth elements in the speaker, fan motor, and power connector magnets are completely recycled, and we're committed to transitioning our entire manufacturing supply chain to 100% renewable electricity by 2030.
I'm surprised this wasn't higher up.
Yeah, it's kind of a footnote, right?
Yeah. And I feel like that'd be something that they're very much, well, I feel like any company that's really doing this should be advertising it to kind of,
I think though they're being purists. If you want to, the way I say that though, just to play devil's advocate,
Mhm.
is because they're trying to explain this product so much that if you bring that higher up, you're messing the rhythm of explaining the product.
I can see that. Yeah.
So that's the only reason there. But they have. I'm glad that they did bring it up here, because a lot of buyers now. I'll bring Swad, my wife, up again on this too. Like she brings it up all the time. She's definitely got that hammered into me now too. So it's kind of a footnote, probably in the right direction because it's like it kind of pushes you, like, hey, it doesn't hurt to have this
Hmm.
in general. And this company is more eco-friendly and environmentally responsible than others out there. Then why not get it? So I'm taking it from that particular note in general, and yeah, I mean, I think they have done a lot with their phones, like the boxes of the phone, like not even having all the other accessories has been interesting. So I like how they
Yeah.
brought that down here. I think it might be that push if this is a purchase that requires a significant other that might be more eco-friendly than you are.
Or if
To buy.
you're, pretty eco-friendly yourself and you're,
True.
like you're feeling bad about it, you get to the end and like, oh, wait, you know,
100%. Yeah. And then they go into what the operating system's about. And then they go into 2 ways to buy. So you can trade in your iMac. If I can get 1,050 for this, I would do it in general, because this is an old computer that I got here. I definitely don't think I will. But you can find your trade-in value. So the call to action here, the text here is not, start or do it. It's like basically an action item of finding what your trade-in value is, which played in. I didn't actually read that word before I said what I said. Like if I can get 1,050, I'd probably buy. But I actually see myself highly clicking on this link just to see, just out of curiosity, which is great for an end psychological effect on us to buy this particular product. And then they push their own card with a 3%, cash back. And you can get, interest free when you choose Apple Card monthly installments. Which this has nothing to do with long form copy, but Apple has done that really well as well. If you did go and, say you want to buy, you go to like apple.com like we are now and start buying this particular product and choose that you want to use Apple Pay. And then you choose your Apple Card. The application process is so seamless. It doesn't make you leave like the website at all to go, apply for, I believe the company that runs it is, man, I forget the name of the bank that's running it. I think it's Barclays, but I'm not sure. Goldman Sachs, I think, might be actually it. Maybe it is Goldman Sachs. But it is really well done. They've taken finance to another level with this. So bringing that up here makes sense to have it. I wouldn't particularly buy that way, but it's, it's so seamless that it's basically playing on like how the internet's changing, like, how you get financing, how you obtain financing fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two, and then it's going into accessories, and then which Mac is right for you. And it's funny though, this particular line has a byline of, it's another CTA, small low button, compare all Mac models. But you would expect it to be like, this is one image of a Mac and this is another. This is all having to do with comparing, and then it moves on to like, are you buying it for education purposes or for business?
Mm-hmm. That's no contact delivery.
Yep, and then these little icons. If you need any help or get cash back, or, how does delivery work? Are you buying it for the business? And then the footer.
Yeah, that was really interesting to see.
Yeah, man, it's a long one. It's literally a long one. We just went through a whole long form page, and it took us, what's the time? How many minutes?
I don't know, actually. I don't think my Zoom shows it to me, but
Yeah.
I would say probably about an hour.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, we veered off a little bit, but.
And I'm sure most people don't look at that page like we do.
Yep.
But it's really interesting to see. And it goes back to, what we talked about at the beginning, the trends with copywriting. And we kind of even saw a little bit like the difference between the technical and, when you need somebody that's a wordsmith. And then it's a whole art. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not only trends with copywriting, because it is an art on there, but I mean, even all you web designers out here, like when your client says, hey, we want to have a navigation on the top, do you really need that navigation on the top anymore? I mean, basically, you had the whole detail of this particular product all on one page without any scrolling back to the top or like anchor points or anything like that. No, like basically just don't even use anchor points. Like make them read throughout the whole page, and you have a higher probability. I'm telling you, man, I'm probably going to go check out how much my iMac would be by the time I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see if I might buy it. Who knows? They definitely have their audiences down. I'm probably a good audience member for them, like their persona of buyers for sure. But yeah, copywriting and visuals And Apple does a good job of both. And copywriting probably, there's no probably, should do a good job of both because we are visual people in general. Shows that a long form page works and copywriting helps, is expanded upon, or like, benefits with the right images to go along with it. That one image, the one that sticks out to me the most is that, that crude image, like, or that one just not showing anything except just that visual of like that movie explaining a screen. Like, I think that does really well.
To me, I want to say was the one where it was like the back of the computer
Okay.
and it had text. Actually, no, it was like the middle of the computer. You can see the back a little bit, and it had text right here and text right here. To me, I thought that was really well done.
Yeah. And then probably the best creative one, in my opinion, and I think maybe you'd be on the same page on, because we both stopped and talked about it for a while, but that spatial image, like that was just a cool way of explaining space and sound
Oh, the one with
with the
the
little
speaker?
like circles, yeah, with the speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
like
was cool.
the most creative if we're gonna grade some of these pictures. But yeah, like it's probably not the most impactful, but it explained it really well.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It was, yeah, just overall really cool image.
Yeah.
I feel like it was subtle enough that like, you could scroll past it, but it still kind of get the gist.
Yeah. And I'm going to just do one more thing. I'm going to share my screen one more time, because we brought up the anchor points. So there's 3 items on the navigation here. So we got overview, text specs, and view pricing. So when I hit overview, I just want to see what happens. I'm not going to talk about it too much. Overview is nothing. This is the overview page. So I can't click on that. Text specs. It is taking me to another page. And then literally is all the text specs. So it's still making it a long form. And it actually goes into the text specs of even the environment, the Energy Star, the like even details of like the manufacturing, the packaging, everything and going in there. So that's that. And then when you hit view pricing, so buy hyphen Mac iMac. I'm going to go back to that overview for a second. That's iMac 24. This is iMac 24 / specs. This is on the shop page, shop by Mac iMac. And it just has 3 options and what to consider when you buy. And then it goes into like a shorter version. Actually, yeah, it's cool, but it does go into a shorter version, almost like a reinforcement of what's inside this iMac.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they didn't make it too difficult. It's like, it's only 3 options. And then, that's where the specs obviously come into play. It's actually not too expensive, $299
Yeah.
for like the base price.
I mean, that's about as much as a new iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And they are going into heavily, and I'm seeing this a lot. They're putting the breakdown of a monthly. They don't care. Because even when you look at your phone these days, right? Like, I don't know about you if you buy your phone outright or trade your phone in all the time. But I do trade my phone in all the time and just pay that monthly amount and just keep it kind of as part of my phone bill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's what I do too. But I mean, I feel like that's just a trend.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I mean,
Yep.
Even when I buy suits online, they always give you the option of like, if you want to do a month to month. Obviously, I never do that, but
You don't do it, but it's just cool for having it there.
yeah, and it just opens up the market even more.
Yeah. It's just math.
Yeah.
It is literally just math, but it helps you explain that number is not as difficult to attain. So
Right.
why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stop sharing again. But yeah, that's long form copy. It kind of hit all three, right? I mean, it's kind of cool. It hit long form copy, copywriting in general, which is what we started our whole conversation on, and why I think landing pages should be longer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Apple's doing it, I mean, that's enough reason for any marketer to understand that it's probably right to do if you do it gracefully.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can get cheesy if not done correctly. So
Yeah.
you always gotta keep an eye out for that.
Which is probably why copywriting is becoming, we talked about this with like a client earlier today, right? Like she
Mm-hmm.
brought up like copywriting, like it is an up and coming industry or profession, mainly for that fact. I mean, because there's skill, you just can't be grammatically correct. You have to have skill of like where things can be placed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And even it almost goes hand in hand with development of web pages because you gotta figure out the layout, figure out what you want to say in each section, and it's almost like one can't follow the other. They really have to work together.
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, maybe this is the bookend for today because we brought this up for another reason today, talking about copy of a web page, and it just shows that we were right with the client. Like, look, we need to have this much wording in play to start figuring out how much do we want to have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sitting here trying to think, like, is that the best way to deal with this particular client? Or if we were to write out everything, send them as a Google Doc without them seeing all the visuals that go along with it, is that going to speed us up or not? And in this case, no. It means that we created a framework. We've created all the text boxes that fit in that framework. And now we're trying to get that voice and copy right for that framework that we've already created. And I think if we went the other way around, which is I think what the client wanted us to do, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I think that's always a concern because if there's, it's all about the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have too much wording, too little, it just looks odd and it's not appealing. And, the person looking at that web page is not going to know exactly what's wrong, but
Yeah.
they're going to leave the web page. So,
yeah. So all three of these things all matter, guys. And yeah, hopefully this was insightful. Need a drink after that long page, or I'm going to go buy something. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, well, we'll talk to you guys next week. If you have any suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And Dress on Samad, Marking on the Rocks. We'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.